We're starting our parade today with a magnificently turned out Foden steam lorry. These were towards the end of the life of steam because obviously the internal combustion engine was coming in and frankly was outclassing the steam engines, but very much of its kind. The Foden is a very, very highly thought of steam collector, incredibly prized possession. I mean, just look at that for a spectacle coming round the ring now. Quite incredible. Just look at that as that comes round the ring. Quite incredible to see that. Beautifully turned out Foden steam lorry. 1925, and that's driven by Doug Williamson from Dunstable.
Yes. You alright?
I think it's yours.
Right?
I think it's yours.
I'll come see you in a little bit, alright?
There's really no sound to beat that as they come past me. Quite incredible, that sort of effortless ease at which they come past, that power. Wonderful. Aveling and Porter coming past me now. Really wonderful to see. Again, 1928, that one we think. And again, a superb example, beautifully restored and done to a tremendously high standard. Now, some of you will be familiar with the Allchin, because the Allchin has distinguished itself by the fact that they were made in Northampton. So a very, very local engine to this area. And I don't think there were any other makes, but certainly the Allchin was made at Northampton. So a wonderful example of a local engine. And obviously quite a rarity. I don't think there were ever quality of the paint job on there. A huge amount of work goes into keeping these wonderful machines running. They are subject to various boiler tests, etc. Of course, they're working machines, and very much what is coming past me now is a working steam engine. Of course, it is no longer steam. It has a Nuffield tractor engine on it, which was fitted by a local farm, and pretty well unique, I think it's fair to say, because the whole steam mechanism has been done away with and replaced in the 1950s with a diesel engine. And that, of course, was because it was very much a working machine. It was used primarily for road construction, and the steam element of the thing was a terrific undertaking to keep it going. And so the tractor engine was fitted, which is very, very unusual to see, but fascinating. Next we have a Fowler. Well, of course, Fowler is pretty well the top of the tree, I suppose. Very, very highly regarded, tremendous quality engine. And 1915, we have a magnificent turnout. Just look at the sort of almost effortless power that is there. You get the feeling it's almost intimidating as it goes past. I apologise. 2 years out. You forgive me 2 years. Wonderful. Now we've got a roller. Of course, different applications, the same motive power, but steam roller, of course, is very much what they're known as. But there are steam traction engines. We talked earlier about Allchin, so this is an Allchin roller from Northampton, and this particular one is 1899, so we're going back a real long way. Again, very much local machine, wonderful to see, and again, absolutely fabulously turned out. It's a real work of art to get an engine looking like that. Wonderful, thank you. Built in Northampton and actually worked in Northampton as well. Quite incredible that the local council ran that up until very few years ago. It's now in preservation with Northampton Railway Preservation Society. We're so thrilled to see these local engines which give a real connection to the local area. Again, steam tractor, which was used as a heavy hauler. Again, this is just an absolutely sensational thing to see. I mean, hugely valuable, we have to say that. These are a very, very prized possession. When we never really want to talk about money, it has to be said that we have millions of pounds worth of engines here today. And that again is very much synonymous with the commitment that the owners have, that all this work and effort goes into keeping these magnificent machines. We've got a Burrel coming past us now, and again a very famous name in the whole steam engine world. This one was in 1907, is that right? Oh, 1925, I'm looking at the wrong one, sorry. Again, beautiful machine, just look at that. No roof on that one, which is great today, but wasn't quite so much fun yesterday. Another Allchin. Again, indigenous to Northamptonshire, wonderful to see. They were established in 1847, I'm told. In a few minutes we will have a bit of a conversation with some of the drivers because they all have a magnificent story to tell. The provenance, the history of these things is every bit as interesting as the actual machine. 100 years old, some of them 120 years old. This one coming past me now is an Aveling Porter 10-ton roller. Wonderful to see, thank you. Better job in the sunshine. Next coming past me is Paul Jefferies from Luton with a 1928 Aveling Porter E-type roller. There's a name to come to with, my goodness. Got a name, usually a lady's name. This one's called Janet. Obviously worked in Scotland at some stage in its life. Again, magnificent to see, absolutely wonderful. Wallis Stevens coming past me now, and again, all these wonderful names are synonymous with the whole of the steam engine world. 1896, Jonathan Victory's engine, absolutely magnificent. Made in Basingstoke, so all over the country there were manufacturers making steam engines, different applications. Next one coming past me is a road-going locomotive. In other words, heavy haulage, any heavy weights, this was your machine. Again, Allchin. It's so wonderful to see these local machines. It's a very great privilege for us to see, because you don't see a terrific lot of Allchin, but obviously just around here it has a great deal of affection for the Allchin engine. driving one of these magnificent machines around the ring. We're offering today, and it's pretty well unique as far as I know, that members of the general public can have a drive on a steam engine around the ring. Go up to the main entrance where all the engines are coming in and talk to the stewards. They'll be very pleased and very happy to arrange for you to have a go on a steam engine. We're asking for a £2 donation to charity, and I think it'll be a fabulous opportunity for big boys, little boys, mums and dads, everybody's most welcome to have a go. Clayton Shuttleworth of Lincoln coming past us now, the gaffer. I think we've got the company mascot on there as well. Now we've got S10. Malcolm Pugh from Leicester with his 1930 Aveling Porter roller. 1930, I mean that makes that quite a baby for us, quite a youngster really. And so it's reasonable to suppose that the rollers are coming to the end of their life. They were tending to go over to diesel after this. Now we have a Ruston Hornsby. Look at that magnificent engine. There is just something about that, isn't there? Absolutely wonderful to see that. 1924. Made in Lincoln. I think all of the engines here today are indigenous to the UK. Don't think there's any foreigners at all. Next one we have Richard Maskell from Bedford with a magnificent Fowler. This is 1915 general purpose engine. So that engine could have been a road-going loco, could have been driving steam engines, thrashing boxes, all that sort of thing, general purpose. Sometimes we did a certain amount of work in the winter, and then in the summer we were different times. But at the time they were made, that was the motive power. There was really nothing much else about the internal combustion engine. It was only just coming into being. Again, another Fowler coming past me. Wonderful to see. Slightly smaller, a bit more refined, almost petite. That's a funny word to use for steam engines. A bit more refined for smaller areas, smaller jobs. Obviously cheaper to manufacture. Now we have a fabulous showman's engine. The showman's engine obviously denotes the fact that it was doing fairgrounds. It was hauling the fairground round the countryside. The dynamo on the front was providing the electricity. And again, a beautiful John Fowler leads the showman's engine. I suppose the most prized of all is the showman's engines, and they seem to be the one that always makes the tremendous money. And clever ones will say that it's a showman's engine. They seem to just go mad for them. They are extremely collectible. And I think that people have an affinity with that whole idea of the fairground coming to the town, coming to the village. And it was really quite an event, as you can imagine. Again, we have another magnificent Fowler coming past. Note the generator on the front, which is belt driven from that flywheel. Of course, there was no mains electricity at that time, so you relied on this portable engine, which towed the rides to the town and then powered. It was an extremely, a wonderful sight to see, and at night with all the lights glaring, absolutely fantastic. Another roller coming past. I think it's an Aveling, yes. Now in a minute, when we've got everybody in the ring, we'll go and have a word with some of the drivers. Some of them are a bit shy, a bit coy, but my goodness, you have something to be very, very proud of. tiny tons of engine, pulling it like it's a paper bag. Absolutely wonderful to see. Winifred is obviously having a lazy afternoon, being towed round the ring. So now I think we're going to talk to one or two drivers. As I say, some of them seem to be a bit shy, but we could easily prize a bit of information out of them. As I say, if you'd like to have a go on a steam engine, do go up to the entrance where the stewards will help you. I think it's pretty well unique to offer this to the general public, but you are most welcome. And thank you very much to some of the drivers who are going to help us out. Now, sir, can you tell me a little bit about this wonderful engine? See, he goes all very shy. Now, if I got a thing like this, I'd be so proud of it. All right. Come on, tell us a bit about it. How come it's got super singers on the back to start?
Well, it's got on enough of that. It's back.
You see, they're so shy and so coy. They really know absolutely everything about it. But how about Mum in there? We seem to have picked up a few passengers already. So this one's going to remain a mystery. Come on, you've got to tell us. Where did you find it?
Well, originally.
And what sort of speed can we get out of this on the flat?
About 15, 21 now.
Yes, I mean, it's steam engine, that's tremendous, isn't it? So do you drive it here? I mean, whereabouts do you come from?
Yeah. We started here with
wonderful to see, and I bet that's a magnificent sight on the road. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Now, where's this man? He's so shy, he's hiding. Tell us about your wonderful engine. Come on, where did you find it?
It's owned by Bob Jackson Cavalcade, 1930 Aveling Porter, G&D steam tractor. She was owned by quite a few different forces contractors, different people all the time. One of them was Taylor Rushden British, they were different starting contractors, power contractors. Bob James got it about 7 years ago, I think now, and then we sort of like hold along and keep it looking as it is and do what you've got to do on it, really.
Well, you're doing a magnificent job, and thank you so much for bringing it for us to see today. It's wonderful. See, I did get it out of the pencil. Thank you. Now, sir, what can you tell us about this?
And spent most of his working life in the Essex area. And
is this an agricultural engine? Was that predominantly what it did?
yes, yeah, it was predominantly threshing, things driven off the flywheel, that type of thing.
Wonderful to see. Where's the map for this one? We've lost it. Now, to the purist, this is not the purist idea of a roller, but it has a wonderful, wonderful working history, because obviously it started like a steam engine, but in, I suppose, probably the 1950s, 1960s, with some basically blacksmith's engineering, was converted to diesel. So what can you tell us, sir?
Well, it's a 1919 engine. In the 60s, it was in the Leicestershire area. It was understood to have fallen over, breaking its flow and cranked. So it was sent to the scrapyard because it wasn't worth repairing. It was rescued from the scrapyard by Lever Brothers, who then converted it to a petrol paraffin engine, which froze up, and then we put the Nuffield engine on it. When it finished its life there, it then went back to the scrapyard again. One of Alan Eaton's friends saw it, was looking for a steering wheel, found it in the scrapyard, rang Alan up, they brought it between them, and rescued it about 25 years ago. And here it is, not in steam, in diesel, but it's unique as it is, so we'll probably leave it as it is.
Then the engines were sold off after the war.
Alright, Mum.
So again, yet another application that we haven't really thought about, which is that whole military, heavy haulage, large artillery, etc. And again, something which, I mean, presumably there is quite a history to the military side of steam engines as well.
Oh yes, yeah, they served in the Boer War and in the First World War. So.
Yes, I've seen some very memorable pictures of steam engines pulling great big guns and things about. Amazing to think there's so many of the positive things the steam engines were put to, and of course some of the slightly more negative military as well. Thank you so much for that, sir. So now, I think this is the first of our wonderful Allchins today. Now, gentlemen, can you tell me a little bit about this? Because I know there is some very much local history as to who's got it now.
Actually opened. We managed to relieve the council of it in 2009. It took us 6 years to persuade them. And then the wife managed to get a lottery grant, there in Canopy, lottery funded, and it was done in a year.
Fantastic. So can we assume that this engine has never really been more than sort of 20 or 30 miles from here all its life?
We are working on something that's probably only a bit out there about 3 miles.
That is incredible, isn't it? That is absolutely fantastic. And that local connection is so pertinent, so important for the area. Wonderful to see it here and wonderful for you to bring it for us to see. Thank you so much. Now, what have we got here? Tell us a little bit about this magnificent thing, sir.
This is a closed headless tractor built in 1978 for in Hull, in Wales originally. During the Second World War, it was commandeered by the London County Council, and it was used in London for putting down Pakistani buildings. And a number of those have been in operation about 5 years.
Absolutely wonderful to see. And do you drive it to the shows? Fantastic. That must be a magnificent sight. Thank you so much for bringing it. So we found out they used it in forestry, in demolition, military work, agriculture. Another old ship. Sir, can you tell me a little bit about this one?
1912 Allchin, owned by J.D. General purpose agricultural energy, several horsepower, been owned by J.D.
Because you know that a bit later on we're inviting the general public to come and have a go at driving a steam engine. So you're 11 and you're doing it, so well done you. That's wonderful to see. Thank you. Right, now we've got to move on because time is pressing on. So once again, if you would like to have a go on a steam engine, please come over to the main entrance. I'm just going to talk to one or two more drivers and then we'll have our procession. This guy here looks like... Come on, you tell me a bit about it.
It's a nice, we rode it over 24 miles, 4 hours.
So you drove it here today? Yesterday rather, yeah. Fantastic, well wonderful to see and thank you very much for bringing it. Now I'm just going to capture one more because we're running out of time. So who's up for it? Come on. Alright, he's the man to ask, they say. So sir, tell us about this magnificent engine. They're so bashful, they're so shy, but they should be so proud. Come on, tell us about this wonderful showman's engine. No? It's not a showman's. No, well, steamroller. But now I didn't know that. You told me that, so I've learned something. So what are all these light bulbs for then? Rolling at night. He's very shy, he doesn't want to really tell me, but this I bet has got a fascinating history. It was a steamroller. When was it converted? Really? Oh, relatively. So was this done sort of for the crack, really, for a bit of a joke? Or was it done, why was it converted? I see, yes, I see what you mean. So you've come to this by default, really, then, yeah. Well, it makes a marvellous exhibit because, of course, you have all the attachments of a showman's engine, but in fact it was a roller, so there's a history in itself. Well, thank you for that. We did prize a bit of information out of it, didn't we? Thank you very much. Now, our charity ride round the ring. Who's up for that? We think we got one or two takers. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a wonderful round of applause for these magnificent engines and their drivers? Thank you so much, everybody. So now I think we're going to have some of the general public driving the engines around the ring. As I say, pretty well unique this experience. So if you have a hankering to have a go on a steam engine, now is your big chance. Boys and girls, mums and dads, everybody's very welcome. A wonderful display, I think you'll agree, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fabulous to see. Millions of pounds worth of steam engines there. And we're so pleased that they've been able to bring them for the show today. We have a much better day for the job than yesterday, let me tell you. Everybody's most welcome, and I think it will be an extremely memorable thing to do. It gives you a sort of taste of what it's actually like to drive an the drivers for offering us this wonderful opportunity. We are so very grateful. Just look at those smiles of those passengers. Wonderful to see. Thank you very much indeed. That's brilliant. Made your afternoon, I can see. Wonderful. That is really tremendous. Look at this. First he'll wash his waiter. But look at it, look on his face. That's worth £100, that smile. Fantastic. So I think we're running pretty much to time, everybody, so if you do want to have a go on a steamer, now's your chance, because we're more or less running out of time. We've even got Granny having a go over there. Well done. She looks in her element. I know what she wants for Christmas now. We're not going to ask embarrassing questions about the age of Granny and the age of the roller. Does that mean you're only 20? What a wonderful sight. That needs a photograph taking of that lady. She's in her element on that roller. That's absolutely wonderful. Look at the concentration. She's determined not to run anybody over. Look at this young man here. We've got one extreme to the other. We've got 10 years old and a bit older behind. Oh, 9! Sorry. Heaven forbid I might get you a year too old. I think Granny'd allow us a year either side as well. Wonderful to see. That smile is priceless on there. Magnificent.
Relax a little bit now. Come out. Hi.
He gets all the pretty girls, this man. I think he must have a nice smile or something. You're doing a grand job there, young man. Wonderful. How old are you? 7. They're getting younger as they come past. Yeah. Wonderful, that will be a memorable day for him, my goodness. At 7 years of age, driving round on that, fantastic.